Well, now the billionaire developer buying up huge chunks of pristine land. The locals are angry and nervous. They want to know exactly what his plans are.
I've called the police 2 or 3 times with high-powered rifle fire.
Mr. Philip Lee?
In the past, we've had blasts, like explosions.
Is Mr. Lee at home or?
They let a billionaire get away with it, but if I did something like that, I wouldn't get away with it, that's for sure.
Is Mr. Lee an elusive character?
No, I don't think so.
We've never seen Mr. Lee in 15 years.
For all the billions, Chinese-born developer Philip Dongfang Lee, Mr. Lee, and his wife Xiao Shi, are you Mr. Lee's wife? Keep a low profile.
Well, he's in Australia, but sometimes I don't see him for 9 months.
The couple live in this luxurious $50 million mansion overlooking Sydney Harbour, part of their prestigious $120 million property portfolio spanning across and beyond Sydney's eastern suburbs.
I think he's used to having a lot of money and getting exactly what he wants when he wants it.
But it's here, 2 hours north in the pristine waters of Port Stephens, where the Lees are rocking the boat. After buying up enough land to cover the playing surface of the MCG 2,000 times over. Are you against anything being developed on this land?
If it scars it, yes. If it settles in and it's not overdone, be happy with that, yes, yes.
Cheryl and Len are on the front lines of a battle royale against the billionaires.
Mr. Lee at one stage proposed a tea house in part of his development on this property for his own use here, so that he could come down and have a little Chinese tea house here.
Wow, nice for some.
Yeah.
The retirees say their Fame Cove Community Action Group has blocked several grandiose development proposals, including a $200 million resort. The size of it?
Yeah, you can see there's basically 8 bedrooms, Chinese dining room, Chinese kitchen, living room areas, servants' quarters, and 11 car parking spaces.
However, the billionaire developer doesn't appear to be a fan of red tape. Without council approval, trees were slashed down, canals built, and kilometres of roads carved into untouched wilderness.
I don't call it development. It's been destruction, has been allowed to happen. Looks like the tide's on its way in.
Delicate marine sanctuary waters divide Ross's property and Philip Lee's.
I happened to be here with the marine park manager and they were driving their roller across it. It was the only time they took any action.
Caught red-handed.
Caught red-handed, yes.
Companies associated with Mr. Lee have copped fines of $300,000 for illegal land clearing and dam building.
There's no respect. It really has just been a knock it over, burn it up.
The New South Wales Land and Environment Court has ordered the Lees to rehabilitate the damaged land by December 31.
As General Manager, I signed those consent orders, but I had nothing to do with the preparation of them.
Glenn Hanford is the former General Manager of the Mid-Coast Council. His task was to hold billionaire property developer Lee to account. But 2 years ago, he suddenly quit his post and started consulting for Philip Lee. It must have been a nice payday, Glenn, to leave the council and jump on Mr. Lee's team.
Well, I can categorically deny that.
Mr. Hanford's team swap stunned locals.
He was privileged to insider information when he worked for the council. He knew a lot about what was going on, a lot more than we knew, and now he's taken that knowledge to work for Mr. Lee.
And for you, your conscience is clear?
Yes.
Yeah.
Look, at the end of the day, I'm assisting them with capability and capacity in their organisation to achieve outcomes that perhaps they weren't able to achieve before.
There are DAs approved for 5 dwellings, 2 roads and a jetty on this land, but locals say they're still in the dark as to what size or shape they'll be. I've seen some of the plans for one big house, giant house.
Yeah.
Is that going ahead at all?
I don't know, you'd have to ask them.
Is Mr. Lee here?
No English.
No English. Philip Lee has handed directorship of 3 companies holding land ownership here to his wife. So we tried our luck trying to track them down at their palace in Sydney's Point Piper. When you're searching for a billionaire couple, it makes sense to start with the most expensive property. Welcome to Mandalay, bought for a whopping $39.9 million in 2015. The gates are open and a Porsche is in the driveway. But the woman who answers the door won't confirm if she is Miss She, Philip Lee's wife. Are you Miss She?
I don't need to let you know.
Okay, so I think you are. You're Miss She.
I refuse to. Okay.
Miss
I
She.
need to call my lawyer now, and I.
Miss She, can I?
What's going on here?
Miss She, there's some issues regarding illegal land clearing with some companies that you're in. Miss She.
I'm not asking you any questions.
You're not answering any questions, Miss She.
They have been told time and time again what they're doing is wrong by authorities of all different levels, but it hasn't stopped it happening. And we want to see it stop.
Yeah, so we've got...
Labor member for Port Stephens, Kate Washington, points the finger of blame directly at Philip Lee.
I feel there should be criminal sanctions. There seems to be nothing else that might make him start respecting our law.
Do you think Mr. Lee has learned from past mistakes?
Well, certainly we've been providing capability and capacity to his organisation so that moving forward there is legislative compliance.
For locals like Linda, fighting the Lees is a matter of life and death.
Because of the 6-foot barrier fence, the koalas no longer can get through, and they're now finding their way back onto the highway with 110-kilometre cars coming down and trucks, and we've found 12 in the last 12 months.
I had nothing to do with the fence or the approval or the construction or anything. I didn't even know.
Consultant Glenn Hanford has reluctantly found himself in the spotlight because attempts to contact the Lees were unsuccessful. His town planning expertise has helped secure approval for 9 development applications from his old council for Mr. Lee, since he swapped his GM salary for a spot on the billionaire's payroll. Well, I'm pleased you're on his team to guide the way for him.
Yeah, well, I guess I'm partially on his team. I mean, it's not, skyscrapers and Bangaroo and stuff like that.
Or a Mandalay mansion.
Yeah.
The local koala conservation group says since our visit, Glenn Hanford has been in touch on behalf of Mr. Lee to find a solution for the koalas.